What's up, everybody? So the other night, I'm on YouTube with late night lessons, checking out an Aeolian exercise, trying to get in shape. And as I'm taking a break from that, I open up my email and there's an email from Two Notes. It's NAMM season, so I'm like, cool, what are they trying to get me to spend money on? Turns out they gave me a free download of the new Genome software, which is an all-in-one guitar workstation, essentially, in terms of pedals, amps, impulse responses, studio effects, and the like that you can use as a plugin in your audio software. In my case, I've been using it in Logic. So I made a little video about just kind of giving you a rundown of the amp models that are included in some of the cabinets. I'm using my Les Paul Studio with a Dimarzio, a Tone Zone in the bridge, and a Seymour Duncan Pearly Gates in the neck. It's my old #1 touring guitar. It's been everywhere with me, and just a solid all-around guitar. So it'll give you an idea of what you're listening to as you watch the video. So check it out.
All right, so here's what we get when we open up the Genome plugin software. Kind of defaults to this Fender amp, Cali Cleans preset. Over here you got a whole list of presets, but we're not going to get into that today. We're going to go through the different amp models and just get a kind of a sense of what's available, just if you want to either copy a rig you have at home, or maybe there's just, a specific sound you want to go for. We're going to see how easy it is to kind of dial that in and see how good it sounds. So let's start up here. We're looking at just sort of the this sort of row of spaces where you can add or subtract whatever's going on here. So on this Cali Cleans, we have this Fender black panel amp. We have the DynIR cab simulation. I guess it's not a simulation, it's an impulse response. Here you can choose your microphone. You can add a second mic. Here you can choose where, this is where you choose if you want 112, 212s, and so on. And then on this particular preset, there is a compressor on. I'm going to get rid of that because I want more of a realistic sense of what the amps themselves are without that. And then here we have reverb. I'm going to turn that down, but keep a little. So, without any further ado, let us go through this list of, basically, we'll call them amps. We got cabs and amps here. In the list here, we have this Codex. It's kind of like as far as I can tell, it's like a profile loader. You can pick different stuff out there. I'm not going to get too much into that here because I just want to see what these, amp simulators are, so to speak. So this is the Albion. We're just going to go in alphabetical order here. It's pretty obvious to me what this is supposed to be. It's a Marshall. Let's see what they give us for a cab. Looks like we still have this Vibroverb 112 sort of a thing. So, I don't know about you, but when I'm using a Marshall, I use a 412. Those are the rules. So, let's go and see what kind of 412s we have to choose from. Starting with the recto oversize, I guess. Tanger with, I guess that's an orange, judging by the font. Tangerine orange. Got the Bow green. Looks like a greenback. I don't know who Bow is. You got the Brit 1935. It says bass in the corner, so maybe that's one of their 15s. I'm not too familiar with the Marshall bass cab stuff. You got the Brownie back, which has that EVH logo, but it doesn't say EVH. If that's the case, these things got cool Celestion speakers, sort of a greenback type speaker. You got your Friedman 412 with a vintage 30, I'm assuming, by the title. And then you got 2 versions of a Marshall cab. So I guess we'll just start on a Marshall style cab and see what happens. So that's pretty cool. Everything's at noon right now, which is probably not how you're going to use this. Most Marshalls turn them up and that happens. So that's kind of cool. You turn the volume up and you get a little more muscle. At least that's what I perceive. Maybe it's just because it's louder. I think it sounds better. Let's turn some knobs here. Let's leave that where it is. So at that midpoint, we got that kind of you know, that AC/DC-ish, clean but not clean, pretty clean but almost dirty sort of a thing. But most people who play an amp like this turn the gain up, so alright, so that's already sounding very usable. That's like a backhanded compliment to any plugin, I guess. It's usable. It's very usable. So we got a depth knob here. It's probably like a resonance knob. The lower it is, the tighter you got your tone, and the higher it is, the thumpier it gets. And then this contour is sort of a mystery, because when you turn it all the way down, it's not, I don't know what it's doing. I guess it's just robbing low end and low mid. So keep it back, put it back in the middle here. Turn it up. So to me, that's just kind of like a filter of some kind. Let's try a different cab. Let's try a Friedman with vintage 30s. All right, so pretty cool for the first amp. Let's do that. Let's dimer, dude. Clam. That's working. Cool. So it sounds like a Marshall. What do you know? Let's move on to the next guy. So here we have the Aviator. So I watched a couple videos of this before I dove into it myself, and nobody seems to know what this is supposed to be, and that's sad because people, it's a Hiwatt. Look at the font. The font has got that nice cool block letter. Got that salt and pepper grill. You got the chicken head knobs, sort of. But anyway, that just tells me not enough of you guys have had the pleasure of playing a Hiwatt or know too much about it. And that's too bad because they're awesome. They're not a Marshall, they're not a Fender, they're their own thing, and they're amazing. They're so good. I digress. Let's check out what we're dealing with at this neutral setting. So it's sort of there. It's got that muscle that Hiwatts are known for. What I want to do is turn the gain up, maybe take some of that muscle down, maybe take some of that depth down, a little treble, lots of mids. So, yeah, it's Hiwatty. Let's turn that up, see how it goes. All right. Oh, let's see. That's just through the Friedman cab. There isn't a Hiwatt 412 here, but there is a Hiwatt 212, which better than nothing. It's got the Fanes. I'm actually kind of excited to have this because I have a real Hiwatt, but I don't have a Fane-loaded cabinet because I'm not rich. Yeah. So I'll be hooking my Hiwatt up with my Two Notes Torpedo and just using this IR, frankly. Assuming it sounds like it's supposed to, which, let's hear it. Yeah, that sounds really cool. So we'll go back to here. Take the gain down, see how she cleans up. Sounds pretty nice. Cool. What's next? We got the Eldorado, El Soldano. I've only ever played a Soldano once in my life. It was a long time ago, like maybe 20 years ago. And all I remember was thinking that it was the greatest thing I'd ever done. That said, I don't have an ear to know if this is realistically, a good copy or not, but that's okay, because a lot of the times, even if these things don't sound exactly like the real deal, if you can get a good sound out of it, then it's a good model, it's a good profile. So feel like I should go with some greenbacks here, so let's just give it a whirl. We'll start sort of neutral-ish. So that's fun. Very articulate, very, all the notes of the chord are coming through. So way to go. Turn the gain up to that. Let's see, that looks cool. We'll give some mids too, because why not? We're going to go back to the 80s, I guess. Fun. Let's hear it through a rectifier. Greenbacks. Brownie back. Cool. I like that. I could write songs with this sound. And that's sort of the whole idea with this stuff. So let's go on, shall we? A FlatBack. Well, here is the some sort of rectifier, Mesa rectifier. So that's the neutral setting. Do what people do with these, yeah. Oh, scoopty doop. Turn that up, and then of course. All right, what cabinet are we on? I don't remember. The EVH. Let's go back to the Recto. Oh, what's up, new metal? Also fun. All right, we're on a roll here. So FlatBack 5 looks like a Mesa Mark series kind of a thing. So let's check it out. So here it is, neutral. So that's like a really great, just sort of mid-gain, mid-rangey rock and roll guitar sound. But, you know, you see one of these, you want to do a little Metallica sort of a vibe, so let's just pretend. Okay, that's the with the Recto cab. Let's try something else. I'm really liking this cab a lot for like almost everything I've tried it on so far. Let's add some depth. Cool, chunky. I like chunk. So yeah, the two Mesa, Mesa amps that they have, the pseudo Mesa amps, sound pretty cool. So now we got a Foundry bass. I'm assuming that's a Fender bass man. So right now we're running through the 412, the Brownie back. Let's see what we have for 212s. So I don't know what a burn it's supposed to be. If you do, leave a comment. Comments help the algorithms. So the ferret sounds pretty nice in this. So let's leave that there and explore what we got here. So I'm not going to get into the pedal stuff really today, but this does seem like something that would really be a good platform to experiment with the pedals in these slots, just to kind of throw some stuff in there and see how they sound. Maybe another video, who knows. But I'm going to move on. We got the Foundry guitar. I got some brown panel action maybe. I think I'm a little out of tune. Hey, look at this cool tuner while we're at it. I'll spare you too much of this. There it is, the old Gibson G. Come on. Close enough for this. So there you go. You got to look at the tuner feature real quick. Yeah, so we got this. Let's just crank it, see what happens. So this is another one where I think putting some pedals in front of it, like some overdrives, could probably sound pretty cool. So yeah, pretty nice. Let's try it through that Fender 112 vibe. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's nice. I like a clean sound where everything's sort of in one zone. There's not too much flub or too much sparkle. It's all just sort of holding it together, and that definitely is happening right now. So cool Foundry guitar. All right, so this is AC30 vibes. We did note here that in the 212s, here's a AC30 212. Another one I'm excited about because I have an AC30 with a extension cabinet out. So I'll be able to get those Alnico blue tones without pissing off my housemates. But anyway, enough about me. Let's check out the amp. Anyway, that could probably benefit from some compression or a better guitar player. Let's just kind of see what happens when we put a little gain on there, give a little extra. Mids are pretty sensitive. There we go. Cool. I like that. I could jam on that. Make some clean stuff. Very, very Voxy sounding. So that's good. It's not, doesn't, well, let's see how dirty it gets. Nice. So, I'm liking everything so far. The Gemini. This looks like the first guy we saw with that Cali Cleans preset that we had. Yeah, I mean, just at the neutral setting, I like that. And that's the Alnico Blues. Let's go back. Well, yeah, we'll try it to the Fender speaker. And then, you know, what I like to do, we're going to... So that's interesting. Like a lot of vintage amps, when you crank up the EQ controls, it'll actually dirty up. It wasn't getting dirty until we added a little bass and treble. So that's pretty cool. In my experience, not a lot of this, you know, amp modeling and profiling software really gets that stuff right. So kudos, Two Notes. Way to go. All right, so this is the Nifty 50, aka 5150 shred machine. So the Vibroverb is not going to work. Let's try that Brownie back again, because, you know, it's like a new 5150 cab, so... So even set to neutral, pretty cool. I don't know if any of you are hip to this setting on a real 5150, but it's usually pretty cool. And it's cool there. But what are we all here for? We're here for this. Let's take that contour up, maybe get some. There we go. Put this up too. Might even turn that up a bit. I could play this one for, you know, a couple more hours, but we're making a video, so I won't. Let's hear it through this. This is what a lot of... So, oh, by the way, all of these, I'm not changing the mic. I'm using the 57 setting for all these, just for the sake of not overly complicating things. Oh, well, yeah, that's cool. Get a little bit more of that top end. Yeah, very fun. Anyway. Again, we're doing good here, people. So, Peggy, we're not playing bass today. We're playing guitar. We're playing Les Paul guitar. So, I mean, it's a bass amp. I'm not going to play guitar through a bass amp most of the time. So this is obviously an orange. So let's go to an orange cab. So that's with everything at noon. Maybe we'll add a little distortion, put a little chunk. It's a little very mid-rangey out of the gate, so... Pardon my tuning. Yeah, so this is pretty fun for like that sort of grand funky sort of just riff rock. Cool. Maybe not something I would go to all the time, but definitely cool. And then I'll show you this. We're not going to really do much with it because I don't have a preamp. So if you have a preamp, say you got one of those Marshall JMP1s or those ADAs or anything cool, or just a preamp in general, You could run it through this power tube amp. You can kind of change what tubes you want to use, because obviously they're going to kind of give you a different filter to everything. So that's pretty cool. And then it's got the depth and contour and the volume like all the other stuff. You don't get any of the EQ because it's just a power section. So this is just another cool way to use the software. There's so much stuff you could do here. You could just use the cab simulators. You could just use the pedals in front of a different amp simulator. You could just use the studio effects. Today we just went through the amps just to get a vibe off the amps, and so far I really like what we're dealing with here. So I'm looking forward to diving deeper into this plugin, but for now I'll leave you with that. Hope you learned something. I did. Cool. Take care.
All right, so I hope you found that useful. The Genome software certainly has a lot of really cool usable amp models and impulse responses and stuff like that. I'm kind of excited to get even deeper into it, checking out the pedals and all the user presets, and maybe I'll make some videos on those as well. If that's something you'd be interested in, leave me a comment. And while we're at it, hit the like, subscribe, because our algorithmic artificial intelligence masters really love it when you do that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.